Hello my friends, Professor Adam here. Today's lesson is going to be on how to set up your charting software. So here in this university, we use TradingView. TradingView, you'll have the link provided to you in the lesson, and we're going to go through some basic things. We're going to go through chart setup, overview of the basic tools, setting watch lists, setting alerts, whether or not you need a free or a paid plan, and then some little tips and tricks on precisely what I do to increase the quality of my experience. So first things first, you'll probably want to have the chart set up so it looks as nice as possible. For me, I do not like the bright white type of chart. All my stuff is dark, so I like to make it as dark as possible. So let's go and do that right now. So when it comes to the background, go into the settings. Every time you come in here, obviously use the chart settings wheel. Appearance, background, solid color. And I'm going to go for black. You can keep the grid lines if that's something that you want to keep. However, for myself, I don't like the grid lines, so I put the opacity down to 0. Nice. I also like to have a watermark so that I can see what's going on in the background. And I have the watermark just set as a gray, and it's just a little bit up. You can do what you like. So, what else do we have here? The color theme. If we go into the color theme and we go to dark, we can actually make the platform nice and dark like this. It's easier on the eyes. Now, actually that background looks a little bit too black for me, so I might change it to a dark gray instead of a black. That looks better. Okay, now next thing, and this is a super top secret alpha trick that I got from Professor Michael, and this is to go into your hollow candles, like so, if you're using candles, and then set the body of these candles to white. Whoop. The wicks to white. Just like this. So your entire chart is black and white. The reason why we do this is because the human mind gets excited by certain colors. This is the reason why McDonald's arches are red and yellow. It's because they stimulate different emotions in you. When we change the chart colors to reflect a neutral palette, this is fantastic because it essentially turns that part, it helps in turning part of the brain off that's responsible for emotions. So this is great for us. Now you'll notice that whenever I'm moving around these charts, I can click and drag and I can go backwards and forwards. I can't go up and down if I click and drag. However, if I want to change the price scale, I can click and drag on the price scale and move that up and downwards like so. Now here's another trick. If I do all of this and I end up in a really bad position and I'm like, oh my god, I've messed this up and I don't know what I'm doing now, I've lost my way. Simply right click on the chart and go to Reset Chart, and it will look beautiful again, and it will have the automatic scaling going on upwards and downwards. It'll make it look all good for you. So if you need to zoom in on a specific location, you just scroll in, zoom in like so, and zoom all the way out, and it's just like that, easy as hell. Every time you get lost or every time you want to go back to the beginning again, reset chart, and that's beautiful. It just sends you straight back to the beginning again. Okay, so now that we have our price navigation handled, which is the zooming in on any part of the price, using the scale like so, the price scale like so, to get an even closer look if we need to. Note how when I click and drag on the price scale, it suddenly disables the automatic scaling. So if you want to, say, start here and disable the automatic scaling, you just move it a little bit, like that, and it turns it off. Or if you want to turn it back on again, just reset and it just automatically does it for you. Okay, when it comes to looking at cryptocurrencies, you'll notice down here in the bottom right hand corner we have the toggle log scale. A log scale is short for logarithmic. You can see here on the right hand side the prices go up linear in terms of numbers. So we have 8, it goes up consistently. You can see the gap between each of these numbers is consistent. It's like a couple of thousand each or whatever, okay? So it's an even number as they go up. Now, if we turn on log, what that does is that applies a mathematical function to the price scale, which means that the price scale is no longer linear. You'll notice that the gap between all of these prices are slightly changed. This makes it so the percentage moves between different prices have now been reflected equally on the price scale. It's complex mathematics. You don't need to know precisely how it works, but what it does is it enables you to get a better look at the price, like so. You notice if we turn the log off, it gets squished. If we turn the log on, it stretches it out nicely. Therefore, in the cryptocurrency world, we like to use logarithmic charts. Okay, so that's it for the moment, I think, for navigation. So we're going to keep log on, and now we're going to look at all the tools that we have at our disposal. So moving from the bottom up here, or top down would probably be better. So we have cursor. It's not really necessary. I like to use the cross. We have a whole bunch of drawing tools in here. For people who like to do technical analysis, this type of stuff will be useful to you. If you want to place a trend line like this, you can connect it between different points and stuff, and that's how people generally do technical analysis. Press the remove button. When you get the toolbar coming up, you can either press the remove there, or you can press the delete button on your keyboard. Just like that. Now, I'm not going to take you through all the different tools. You can experiment with them in your own time. However, I would encourage you to become familiar with all of them, just so you know what they are. But don't spend too much time on them. You can go down an infinite rabbit hole and it'll keep you stuck there for the rest of your life and you'll never learn anything. So we also have some Fibonacci-based drawing tools in here for those who like to wear tinfoil hats and read tea leaves. So you can do what you like with those. They're all quite fascinating and equally useless. You have drawing tools. So in here you have brushes, shapes, and the like, so you can do certain things. There's actually some very constructive things that you can do with this stuff. So drawing explains itself fairly well. That tool can be quite annoying to use, but you'll get the hang of it after a while. You can draw rectangles, you can draw circles, things like that. Triangles are probably one of the most useful ones, but that is not really a subject for today's talk because I could go on forever about them. Now notice this, I have a couple of shapes and I'm annoyed by them and I want to get rid of them. So down here in the bottom right hand corner, you'll notice that there is a remove objects button. This is a universal remove objects button. So you press on that and it removes all the shapes from your chart, just like so. And now the whole chart is nice and fresh again. Moving on, we have some text functions down here. We have some some things that you can put on your charts to make it look nice. Text posts are quite useful. You can place them on the chart and you can say whatever you like. And that will allow you to make certain notes on your chart. We'll return to that at the end of this presentation so that you have a better idea of what I use that for. Next you have cipher patterns. So these, and also the Elliott wave patterns. So these are analysis patterns that you can use for doing certain types of analysis, if that's something that floats your boat. A very specialized type of analysis, that is. You can look over these in your own time. Here you have positions. So you can track long positions where you buy and you say, I want to have a certain risk to reward ratio. Notice how the number for the risk to reward changes as you move this around. Now it's a 3. And now it's a 4. And as you move this up, the ratio between the potential gains and the potential losses increases. Generally, you want that number as high as possible, but it can change depending on the trading style you have, depending on what time frame you're operating over. If the stop loss is too close to your current price, all you're doing is increasing the probability of it getting hit. But that's analysis for another video. There's also date ranges where you can measure the distance between two dates if you want to know how long it is, how many years or days or months or whatever, and how many bars. You can see that information is always displayed in here. You can also do this with price ranges from there to there. It's worthwhile noting that if you're on a computer, a PC, or a laptop, you can hold down the shift button and it will give you a time and price measurement like this that doesn't stick to the chart. So you can use that and move it around how you like. And then as soon as you move away from it, it just disappears. Nice and easy. Good for doing some quick measurements on different price scales. I like to use that function. So that's the holding down the shift and clicking the mouse button. Okay, what else do we have in here? Anything useful? Not really. Okay, and you have some symbols to put on your chart to make it look pretty. Those don't really do too much. The measure down here, that is the shift and click that I was just talking to you about. The zoom in, you can draw a little box, and sometimes it's more accurate than others, depending on where you zoom into. Today it's looking quite good, so you can use that if you like. The magnet function, if you enable the magnet function, this makes it so when you're drawing, it will snap. You can see how it's snapping the crosshairs to each price level, the high, close, open, and low. It's not allowing me to move my cursor around freely. So I can place it, I can have it magnetized to the high of this candle here, and then it goes bang, 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 and it keeps clicking to all the different highs like that. So if you want all of your stuff to stick to certain parts of the chart, you can turn that on. Personally, I keep it off. Drawing mode, drawing lock, and drawing mode and lock drawings is something that I don't personally use. However, something that I do find useful is if you do have drawings on your chart and you're trying to present your chart to somebody and you know for a fact that they don't know what you're talking about, and you have all this stuff here, and this analysis makes sense to you, but you know it's not going to make sense to anybody else, you can quickly turn the drawings off like this. Take a photo of the chart and then turn them right back on again so you can get back to where you left off. Hide drawings and then show them again. And now I will delete them. Okay, so now moving across the top, you will have your menu button. Nothing really too interesting there. And up here is probably one of the most important sections. So the symbol search is actually the asset that you want to look at. Sorry, I'll just remove that pen mark. Actually, I will remove these things here. That's a buy and sell button for broker integration. Those are not needed. Buy and sell buttons off. Pretty important to do that. Okay, so when you click on the symbol search, it will actually give you this window here, and this gives you every single asset that you can look at on the entire platform. Everything that's ever been, any asset in the whole world, in the universe, can essentially be looked at here. It's not quite as good as a place like CoinGecko that has every single tiny small cap, but it's still pretty good. I'm talking like 99% of all the shit you ever want is going to be in here guaranteed. So if I wanted to look at Ethereum denominated in US dollars, so remember, Ethereum, ETH, you could spell the whole thing out, Ethereum, like that. You could spell the word, or you can just use the ticker symbol for Ethereum, which is ETH. And then US dollars for denominated in US dollars, or USDT for denominated in Tether. You'll learn all this stuff as you go along. So you can see here, now it's the Ethereum chart. Fantastic. The little plus button next to it is add or compare symbol. This enables you to compare it to things like BNB or Bitcoin. You'll notice that when you go into comparison mode, now all of these tickers start at the same price point on the very, very far left-hand side, so that they have, so that you're comparing the percent performance. You can see if we zoom out, that everything compared to BNB has historically performed at a higher rate than Ethereum or Bitcoin, and that's reflected on this comparison chart here. If you want to turn the comparisons off percentage and you just wanted to compare the correlation, you can go into here and you can go no scale, full screen, and you can go no scale on both of them. Now, on this chart, you won't be comparing relative performance as far as the magnitude, but you will be comparing relative performance as far as their behavior is concerned. You can see here, post the major crash that we had in 2021, everything was quite highly correlated. Time frame. So on this list here, you get to choose from all the different time frames that you want to look at. Generally, I would not recommend going into the seconds or minutes. You will get wrecked unless you're a professional scalper. Michael will teach you how to do that. And generally, most people cruise around on the one-day chart. But you can go to 1 week. Remember, let's after we let this load, we will turn on the log chart again. Here's my platform has frozen. What the fuck is going on? Okay. So you can see here, on the weekly chart, we have a more zoomed out view. 2022, 2021, 2020. You can go, if you're on the Bitcoin chart, you can go all the way back to 2010 if you want to, if you use the right chart. You can also go onto the monthly chart. And you can see here, every single candle in this chart represents 1 month worth of time. And of course, you can go back down into daily. If you wanted to go into a smaller chart, you can then go into the hours if you want to, over short time frames. So that's where that is. Okay, so if you want to apply indicators to your chart, that will be in the next thing over here. We've already covered, actually no, the chart types, you've got different chart types here. Most of these are not really useful to know the difference between. They're just like whatever. You'll have hollow candles on 99% of the time. Down here, these are alternative charts. These are for more advanced users. Those are for people who are real technical analysts and they want to get like some weird research going on their charts. Personally, I don't know anybody that's ever made them work or they're very useful at all. So it is what it is. I don't recommend you use any of those. I don't really recommend you use any other ones of these. Hollow candles with this color scheme is the best. Okay, so moving on to indicators. You have a massive library of indicators to choose from. You can go into community scripts and there is literally an infinite amount of different indicators to choose from. You could spend your entire life looking at different indicators here and you would never ever run out of options to look at. So if you wanted to apply these to your profile and just do all types of weird analysis and make your chart look really cool, it's no big deal. You can just apply a whole bunch of random shit to your chart. However, whether or not that's actually useful or not is subject to debate. I would say that for the most part, most indicators are not useful. They're subject to your biases, but that's up for you to decide. If you ever find an indicator that you like, press the star next to its name to add it to your favorites, so you don't have to go looking and finding it at some sort of later date. You can look at the top and trending as well. Remember, in here, we have two different types. We have indicators and strategies. Strategies, as you can see denoted by the long-short symbol next to it, these are automated strategies that make decisions for you, that make trading decisions for you. So you can see here, whether or not it's actually accurate, it's probably not, but you can see that sometimes it tells you to sell at the right time, sometimes it tells you to buy at the wrong time, up and down. This is kind of more professional stuff, so if you go coding strategies, you can then learn how to long short, and do whatever it is. So we'll remove that and keep moving on because that's a whole discussion in of itself. There's the favorites there, and here you can save indicator templates. So for example, I have a correlation template. So I have all the different correlation measurements here on different time horizons. Because I don't want to go clicking into the indicators and continually retyping all the different indicators in here, I just make a template for that. So I put the indicators on the chart one time, I set all the different properties, I change the styles and whatever it is to suit my tastes, and then I go up here and I go save indicator template, and then I type in like Bitcoin correlation. Remember symbol, remember interval, and then hit save. And this will enable me to go back and choose from my list of different things so that I can at any point just go straight back into this chart, and it is what it is. I have the hotkeys up here, like all these different little ones there, so I can go between some of my favorites. So I'll just go back to the blank chart again. Okay, moving along. Now we have the alert button. That creates a generic alert. However, that's probably not a very useful way of using alerts. So I will cover that in just a moment. The replay function enables you to go back in time and look at, say, you want to test your skills moving forward through time. You can go back like this, and you can role play, and you can see down here we have the controls. You can role play, and you say, well, let's move forwards through time at 3 updates per second. Play. Now, I get the opportunity of going forwards through time and asking myself, oh, what decision would I have made here? What decision would I have made there? And there, and there, and there, and whatever it is. And you can kind of test yourself if you really want to. I think that's kind of interesting, but whatever. So, exit the chart replay mode. And if you want to save your progress or whatever, you can press that button there. You have different screen layouts for people with multiple monitors. You have different chart layouts. I don't know what the search button does actually, because I never used that. Full screen, self-explanatory. Take a snapshot. That's how you produce a screenshot of your image. Personally, I just use the Windows hotkey combination, which is Shift, Windows key, and S, and that enables me to take a screenshot of this using my cursor. Okay, so now we're moving on to the right-hand side. We're almost done, guys. So the watch list is probably the most important thing that you will do when it comes to, one of the 2 most important things that you will do when it comes to TradingView. The watch list will allow you to keep track of all the different things that are important to you. As Anton Creel said, I learned this from him. He said, a stacked watch list is always important because you want to have a lot of opportunities to choose from. If you're just a beggar and you're just chilling there on just one chart, or you've got one asset and you're not looking at anything, then you're going to be struggling because you don't have a whole bunch of opportunities to look at or to choose from. So what you need to do is you need to be constantly adding symbols to your watch lists and create lots of different watch lists. See, I have a watch list for my traditional markets that contain the stock markets, all the different things in the traditional markets. I have a bond dashboard, so I can look at interest rates in Australia and the United States. I have my crypto main one, so I have like core holdings or like core things that I'm looking at, a hit list, and different ideas. None of these are really useful. Most of these are pretty useful. Then I have the shitcoins one, which I use as a broad measurement of altcoin market beta, but that's a complicated subject to cover. Index tracker, deleted symbols, it is what it is. There are some management tools in here. You can figure those out in your time. Now, when it comes to alerts, I don't want to dox myself too much with all these names and everything that you're going to be seeing in here, but suffice to say, if you have something like a strategy, MACD strategy, and you wanted to know the next time this strategy went long, for example, or the next time it went short, okay? Because you can see here it goes long, short, long, short, long, short. It goes up and down, and you say to yourself, well, I wanted to tell me when the next time will be. You don't go up here and you press the alert button. You don't do that. You go here. And you'll notice the 3 dots when you press that, it goes add alert onto the strategy. You always want to take this type of alert. And you'll notice that it says condition. You can set a price condition on your chart, or you can set a condition on your strategy. So if you just select the strategy, it will know to send you a message if it goes long or it goes short and it changes direction. And you can call that MACD strategy on Bitcoin, because we're on the Bitcoin chart out here. So in the message as well, you can type in whatever you want in here. This is a test for the university. Great. And then I have notify on app, notify pop-up, send email. What else do I have? Play sound. I have that playing as loud as possible for as long as possible. send, email to SMS. I have everything set up because I don't want to miss this thing, right? So it's going to buzz and make all types of crazy noises when the indicator goes off, and I create that strategy, and it's going to run until the expiration date. So I want to run the expiration date as far out into the future as I can. I'll continually re-trigger all the time. Here's what it is. Now, alternatively, if you wanted to set a price alert, which is just basically like, is the price going to go up or down? See, for example, if I was thinking that Bitcoin's going to come down like this. If I think that crypto is going to do that, and I am going long down here, I want to be able to walk away from this chart and know for sure that I'm going to get an alert down at this price point where I want to enter at. So you'll notice as well, there's a little plus symbol over here on the very far edge. That enables me, when I click it, to set an alert at that price level. Amazing. So you'll see it turns bright orange to tell me that it's ready to go. When the price goes down and it crosses below that, it's going to send me a notification. Again, alert name, whatever. You have different options here, crossing up, crossing down. Crossing is generally the one that I use because it goes in both directions. Most of these other ones are too complicated, and you're not going to need to know those. Okay, that covers alerts. And I will quickly remove that alert. Yep. Okay, so now we have, what have we done? So we've done pretty much everything. Okay, we're going to talk about the different types of plans that you need. So obviously, when you go to TradingView, you're going to see there's a lot of plans here. Some of them are quite expensive. So let's have a look at the benefits and everything. So when you are using the basic free plan, I believe it's free. Is basic free? Yeah, basic must be free. So basic, you will get ads on your charts and in your yes, that's something I didn't mention. News, right? Data window, hot list, calendar, ideas, public chat, private chat, ideas stream, streams, notifications, order panel, depth of market are all useless. Do not use them for any reason. Okay? No reason. The only two things you need in this are the watch list and your alerts. And that's it. Okay? Watch list, alerts. Don't get your brain poisoned and think that any of this other shit down here matters. The object tree, on the other hand, can be extremely important, especially if you're using a lot of charts. If you go onto a chart like crypto, let's have a look here, you will see in the object tree, oh Jesus Christ, you will see in the object tree I've got a whole bunch of drawings here. So it'll allow me to see at a glance how many drawings I have on that chart. But you in general, never use that. Okay, free, paid. So on the free chart, you are going to have ads. It is what it is. It is what it is. So moving on. Charts per tab, 1. Number of saved charts layout. You can go through all these and see the things that are important to you. You can see, obviously, you get more features the further on you go. I have Pro Plus, I believe. I find that quite useful for myself. Export chart data is really the thing that I need it for the most. What else do I use it for? It was these alerts. Having 100 alerts, I need all of I need a lot. I currently have between 19 and 25 different alerts set, I think, at any one time. So obviously 2 months is good. I set them all 2 months out into the future. If you're using the free plan, you've only got one alert. That's not really that good. That's going to stress you out a lot, I think. Data, yeah, the data doesn't really matter that much. A lot of this shit is just marketing. A lot of it you generally don't need. But it's up to you. Like, everybody keeps asking me, like, what plan should I choose? It's like, I don't know. How serious do you want to take trading? How badly do you want to have this as a professional endeavor that you use? I use Pro Plus because it has the two. I'm cheap. Like, I don't like spending my money, even though I'm fucking rich. Like, I don't give a fuck. about spending money. Like, I'd rather keep my money. But even then, I use Pro Plus because it's got all the shit that I need, the minimum level of all the shit that I need to do what I need to do. I don't need Premium, even though it's got a whole bunch of additional shit that I don't need. So you can do what you want to do. If you like Basic and it suits your needs, and you feel like you can't take advantage of all the factors that are in Pro and Pro Plus, then don't buy it. Nobody's got a gun to your head. However, this is the shit that you need. It really is the alerts, the indicators per chart. Like, I sometimes set like 7 or 8 different indicators per chart just for random reasons. It's not really needed, but yeah. Okay, so moving on to the very last thing. The thing that you need to remember that's so important is documentation. Documentation. Everybody always talks in the fucking trading world about keeping a trading journal. That's bullshit. Nobody's keeping a fucking trading journal. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody has that much time to keep a fucking trading journal. However, because you have text notes here on the chart, it only takes you 1 second to go, I thought the RSI was overbought. Some gay explanation that doesn't make any sense. And you place that over here with a fucking arrow. Bam. Or you thought that it was overbought over here. Bam. Like that. That's good documentation, because that will enable you to go back in the past and say to yourself, oh, okay, so that's why I made that decision there. And you can continually do this same type of thing. I thought the RSI was oversold. Go bam. Put this down here. And that way, you'll know forwards through time, as the price moves, you'll go, oh yeah, up, down, I made different decisions, and this is why things didn't work, or this is why things did work. In my alerts, when I do different alerts, I will write full descriptions in my alerts. I'll be like, I'll go down here and I'll be like, fund management decision, or whatever it is, and I'll be like, there is a bullish bias on the higher time frame. Indicators on the 7-day and 14-day chart are bullish. Whatever it is. And you keep a document, you keep a record of what's going on in your mind when you set these alerts. So, because trust me, when they come around and these alerts trigger, you're not going to remember why the fuck you set that alert in the first place. You're going to forget. So keeping this shit in here is so important. The best gains I ever made psychologically when it came to my trading choices was when I started keeping documentation on the criteria that I was using for certain trade decisions. You need to make this as part of your process. You can see here, example, like the TPI, for example. I have the TPI records, long, short. Even there, I had conservative strategy sell into cash because the TPI was going above 0. So these are all great examples of how to use the charts to the maximum benefit. I showed you how to set up the chart. I showed you the overview of all the basic tools, where to get your different symbols from, the indicators, the different templates that you can set for yourself. I showed you your watch lists, your alerts, why you shouldn't be looking at any of this bullshit. I showed you the plans, had a quick discussion about that, and I talked to you about making notes so that you can keep track of the decision-making processes that you do. Remember, the more detail, the better. But anyway, maybe that's a tale for another time. Thank you for your time, guys. Talk to you later.